So I broke a guitar string last night, and I figured that this might be a good opportunity to do a how-to video. So here's a how-to video on how to change guitar strings. This is really pretty simple, but my reason for doing a how-to video like this is because I took a guitar class when I was in high school. The instruction that we were given on how to change strings was not very clear. Then when I was in college, I needed an easy credit for a quarter, so I took another guitar class, and they never even talked about it. So this is something that I've heard people who play say that they've never changed a string before, they've never done it. They'll just take it to a guitar shop and have them do it. So here's a how-to video. It's really pretty simple. So things that you'll need, of course you'll need your guitar. If you're watching this, I'm sure you have one. A no-brainer is set of strings. The ones I'm using are Martin Acoustic SP Lights. These were what shipped on my guitar. I have a Martin, so that's what I'm putting back on them because I liked them. So you'll need a new set of strings. You'll also need a tuner to use at the end, make sure everything's in tune. This is a Super Snark tuner that goes on the headstock, and it just tunes based on vibration. Really, really useful. This is a great tuner. You also need a set of side cutters, or snips or something like that, to cut off old strings as well as the excess on the new strings. Now this one is going to sound a little weird, but you need a fork. They make tools to remove the pegs that hold the strings in, but there's really no point in buying one of those when a fork works just fine. Let's get started. Okay, so here's my guitar. This is one of their kind of entry-level guitars, but it's still very nice. You'll notice that the string I broke was the D. The internal core broke, and the winding held it together. So the first thing that you want to do on changing strings is release the tension on all the strings that you're going to be changing. And it's always a good idea to just replace all the strings at once. So now get to cut away the old strings. Taking your side cutters, get up by the headstock, usually just beyond the nut, and cut. Just like that. Cut all 6 strings away. So take off those last few pieces, which are wrapped around like this. Get that loose and take that away. And again, do that on every string. Now, when guitar strings break, they are pretty sharp. So just be careful not to cut yourself. I knew this girl in high school who was not allowed to play her guitar when her mom wasn't home because her mom was afraid that a string was going to break and stab her in the eye. Her mom was kind of paranoid. So then for Christmas, one year, someone bought her some safety goggles so that she could play guitar when her mom wasn't home. So, with all those taken off, now you can remove the rest of the string. So, what you do, this is why you have the fork. The strings are held in by these pegs here. Now the fork usually fits very nicely underneath. I've tried to do it with needle nose pliers before, and I've damaged the finish. There it goes. You pull the peg out, and the string comes out. Don't lose the pegs. Now, if you have an acoustic electric guitar, when you change the strings, it's usually a good idea to change the battery as well. This is the one thing I don't like about the Martin guitars. This is where they put the battery for the pickup. It's down inside it. It's a Duracell 9-volt. This one's still good, but I'm going to change it out because I have the opportunity to. Best way to test if the battery is good is like this. Still get a little juice out of it, but not as much as there needs to be. So it's always a good idea to change the battery when you're doing the strings. And especially on a Martin, with the battery in that little nylon pouch down inside that's really hard to get to with the strings on, which I've had to do before. I'm going to use the Duracell Quantums, because that's actually what was in there when I bought the guitar. So just flip the leads how they need to go, put it back in the pouch, and stick the pouch back on the Velcro piece inside there. I absolutely love this guitar, but that's the one thing that I don't like that they did, was where they put that battery. I understand why they put it there, is because they wanted a really clean look, but its usability is not very good. Another thing that's good to do when you have the strings off is to clean the guitar. I have some Dr. Duck's Axe Wax and String Lube that's a good cleaner for these guitars, because the fingerboards have a tendency to get dirty as you play them, just from oils from your fingers and dirt that might be on there. So you just put a little bit on there. The main thing that I want to clean is the fingerboard. Just recondition it, get all the oils from my fingers off of there. I'll go back over it and wipe off any excess. Fingerboard is breathing a sigh of relief right now. So now it's time to put the new strings on. So thickest string is the low string, the low E. I'm speaking in standard tuning. So what you want to do when you put the string in, at the end of the string there's this ball. The ball is supposed to wedge between the peg and the bridge. You don't want the ball down below like that, because otherwise the tension from the string will pop the peg out. Put the string down in the hole, give the string a tug as you're pushing the peg down. Then go up to the headstock, turn the tuning head so it's facing downward, just so it's a little easier to get through. Run this through, and set the tension. You want about 1 to 2 inches of flex on it. So you turn it so that the string goes toward the inside. Usually want to keep a thumb on the nut to hold the string in the groove. You do it just enough to get tension on the string. I love the sound of new strings. Okay, I've got enough tension on those now. Now I will tune it. All the strings back on, it's time to tune it. So this is my Super Snark tuner. Standard tuning is E, A, D, G, B, E. That's how you want to tune it. Almost there. That was a whole octave low on that one. Whole octave low there. New strings. Don't be alarmed if you have to tune them 5 times the first week. It's just the nature of new strings. They're not broken in, so the tension really changes. I'd say those sound pretty okay. So that's how to change strings. The very last thing that you want to do is all this excess string up here is really going to get in the way. So you either want to coil that back on itself and run it through the tuning machine, or cut it off with the side cutters, which is what I do. Make sure you don't cut through any of the tension strings up here, because then you're going to have to swap it out. And that's just really annoying. And I hope that was helpful to you. Thanks for watching.